Okay, hello and welcome to my next chess game. This time I show you the game between Monarch 1.7 versus Houdini x64B, and I let them play the Trompovsky opening. To be exact, this kind of opening position is what I gave them to start with, and this arises after the moves d4, knight f6, bishop g5, knight here, bishop f4, d5, another interesting move, f6, knight goes back here, and now knight c6, preparing e4, bishop there, kicking the bishop, trying to trap the bishop, now e3, e6, queen d2, and knight here, and we have the first move calculated by Monarch, and this is the move h5, and Houdini goes probably back to h7, and now, I don't know, a3 to stop knight here, or castling. But castling I don't know about, because knight here, followed by a3, a5, knight takes, pawn takes, threatening the knight and a mate. So okay, you get the piece back. No, you don't get the piece back. The knight goes here to defend against the mate. And probably that move to open up the position even further. Or just, no, leave the pawn right there and go in with the rook. But I don't know if you can allow those kind of sacrifices. Probably you can, because probably b3 is a good move there. I don't know, you always have something else. So knight here, a3, knight has to go back. So probably not knight a3. Probably something like bishop there is better. And now what? Knight here to try and get the bishop. And you can go bishop here, try and provoke this. And then go back to e7. If the queen moves, you just kick the knight and take the knight later. So probably bishop here is a good move. c3 and bishop all the way back, with ideas like knight here to here, to that square. And you can always kick the knight back and threaten to take it. So probably after bishop here, the knight has to go back, but then this move kind of doesn't make sense. So probably you want to stop this by playing a3 at some point. But okay, we don't have this yet. If the move, we don't have castles. If the move bishop here, now probably bishop takes, followed by queen takes. Now you could go maybe here. Okay, queen goes back to d2. Now c4, c5 I mean. This check, does this check do any damage? Check, the knight is protected, so let's say you go here. Queen is greedy, takes a pawn, rook here. You don't even have to play rook here. Yeah, well, your rook here, queen there, and knight forks. So this check does nothing. So the queen has to go back. Now c5. a3 to kick away the knight. Well, let's say I have here something different in mind. No, not before bishop d6. But we don't have castles anyway. Bishop d3 we have. Bishop takes knight here, queen here, c5. Very interesting position. I'm curious how Houdini will handle this. a3, let's say. Knight goes back. Now you take here. Maybe. Just leave the pawn right there. Okay, bishop takes. Can also go e5. Can also play e5 here instead. Bishop there. And d5 takes. Queen gives a check. Bishop there. But now knight protects the pawn. Or I don't think this works. But we don't have queen takes. We have actually the move c takes. Now what? C takes d3, bishop d6 probably. Probably bishop d6, bishop takes, queen takes. And then maybe knight here, forking. King there. Yeah, well, this move is actually for nothing. Because you kick it next move anyway, so no, but after this you kind of can go in with the queen and go for an endgame, but I don't know how this endgame is. Takes, now you probably castle queen side because there was a knight fork threat. Now you could maybe go for e5. Takes, kicking the knight, pawn takes here. Knight takes, and then you have a doubled isolated d-pawn, or even rook takes, and then this pawn will fall. So e4 doesn't work in that position. Very interesting endgame though. I don't know who is better here and why. Probably black is better. Has some ideas of attacking this pawn even. Or coming in with to c6 or even e5 could be a plan at some point. Opening up the position. So let's see what else to play with white if white doesn't want to go for an endgame yet. So queen takes, threatening this check. So let's say castles. Castles. Long knight here. Oh, queen there. Queen there looks actually very interesting. Now you could go for a pawn sacrifice, maybe. And if white is really very greedy, attacking the rook, then this knight probably never sees daylight again. Oh well, he can fork there, so... But you can probably attack it that way. And if this, then there is this check coming in. King has to go there. And then queen here attacks the rook and the knight. The rook would fall with checkmate. So you probably have to go somewhere with the rook. And then the knight falls. So the second pawn is immune. Knight here. And now some rook to the b file. Pressurize that pawn, but the queen is still defending it, so no problems there quite yet. But you can maybe go for something like this. It's just a pawn for the open b file to just have a faster attack. Maybe with something like a5, a4, a3 to come, or knight here, or rook there to here, probably something along those lines. But we have a different move. Instead of castling or bishop takes, we have the move knight here. So if bishop takes, then the knight can take it, which is very nice play by Monarch. I quite like this move. Let's see what Houdini thinks about that position and why. Okay, both engines still think it's kind of equal, that position. But bishop takes f4 anyway, probably. Get rid of the bishops and then maybe push for e5. Pawn takes, knight takes, threatening this pawn. So maybe queen here and then c5. And if ever e5, then the knight has a beautiful square right there. So we'll probably go for something like this. e5, c5. White's king will never be that safe. Yeah, black's king also won't be that safe. Maybe followed up with something like this. Or queen here. No, probably not queen here. But queen here to pressurize this pawn. With plans like this, rook is coming maybe to the c file, so it's quite an interesting position. Knight takes f4 and queen f4 to eat, queen e7, then okay, let's see, we have this kind of stuff. Bishop takes f4. Probably not knight here. Oh wow, we have pawn takes. We have pawn takes. Not knight takes. We have pawn takes. Another position, I don't know. White's pawns look pretty funny. Yeah, Houdini agrees. Better was knight takes. But pawn takes is also interesting. Trying to go g5. maybe immediately. G5, pawn takes, then you have this pawn wedge here, and yeah, but black will go long probably. No, knight to d7. Knight to d7 is what Houdini calculates. I will play something else. I will play queen here. No, but then knight here, so queen here I will play probably. Queen e7. Then that move takes, and probably even after the knight moves, probably even that move. And the monarch got what he wants. Here takes, and going long. I don't know about that position. It's interesting though. So pawn takes is also not that bad for white. It just looks funny, but the monarch always plays interesting chess. E takes f4, queen here. Let's go with the Houdini line. Knight here. This is not the Houdini line, but the Houdini move. Pawn here. What's the plan for this knight? E5 is suppressed, so probably something like f6 now. To go e5 next. Pawn takes here, rook takes there even. And now white is ready to play, black is ready to play queen here, knight here, go long and open up the position. And this two doubled isolated pawns right there, this one and that one, it's just not a good position here, and black's pawn structure is perfect. So I kind of think black is slightly better there, but maybe f6. I don't know. I'll smoke a cigarette and I will come back to this position later. We are here. Let's see what we got here. Still no moves. Okay. Now we have to move knight to d7. Houdini starts to reroute his pieces. And now the Monarch went long. Okay, queen f6 is now probably the idea to go after that pawn. Then queen here probably defends both pawns. And going long as well. Let's again see both evaluations. Okay, it's still kind of equal. The position. Very interesting. Let's go with this line. Now what to play here for white? Probably, oh, knight here doesn't do anything. Just kick the knight back. So maybe something like g5 now. Pawn takes, so queen goes back immediately. The queen will go here after that move. So pawn takes, and queen here. But then knight here. And the queen has to go back to h7. What about that move immediately? Instead of taking, no. Castle's long. g5. g5 looks very interesting. Takes. Pawn takes. Queen here and knight there, so queen goes back. Let's say g6, f6. And this. And white got the past h pawn. So probably g4 then, g5 then. Castle's long. dg1 probably first. I have to be honest, I quite like white's position here. Queen here and rook there, and these pawns look quite strong, so you might even not take it, you might go back immediately. And then rook g1, because you don't want black to get past pawn. Then king here maybe, queen there. Oh, queen there only later. Takes, rook here, doubling on the g file, or dg1 immediately, but it transposes, so probably this now. Rook dg1, let's say. King here. And now what to play for white? If takes, and yeah, but those pawns are quite funny, but they have their duty. They protect against any e5 push from black, so those two pawns are not that stupid. And this pawn also protects against any knight coming into this square. So it's quite hard to find a plan for black here in this position. Yeah, but you maybe go for c5. So you maybe go knight here anyway, c5. If not takes, then you go even further. Try to take that pawn to go in with the knight. Or you take here and go in with the knight here, and the other knight here to that square on c5, and the other knight coming into b4 to pressurize that pawn right here. So this might be an option. Okay, we don't have this. We have a3. But now knight here to here maybe is an idea. Or but king b8 first. And now g5. Queen here. Rook d1. Knight here to go in there. We would check, but then the king just attacks the knight. But you can maybe go for that move in the future. Let's say, what's white's plan? You can maybe even kick the knight. Let's say you kick the knight and black ignores you, taking the knight. Queen takes here with check. King here, let's say. Knight here threatening a mate. And also the knight, so the queen has to go back. Then this check. I wouldn't go for that check. I would go for that check, although this check also looks interesting to scoop up that pawn. So this check, the king has to go somewhere. King cannot go in front. So let's say king there. Then I scoop up this pawn, threat no discovery. So queen there. And then rook here. To something like there or there. And I don't know, this comes with a double check. This is probably very hard to defend here for white, but probably something like here to there to defend the queen. But then taking there, yeah, the queen has no squares where it can move to. To pin this knight. So maybe c6 now, but then the queen can come in with a check, so maybe c5. And if you take it, then queen, then knight here with a double check, with a check. So you kind of have to take it either with the rook or with the knight, but it doesn't matter. Then this move comes, followed by that move, followed by that move. White defense, so this is probably not possible. Okay, we have some aggression on the white side here. We have king b8 and pawn here. This is very aggressive, but let's see if this backfires. We have the move a6 here from Houdini, and still both engines thinks it's kinda equal, maybe slightly better for one of them, probably for black, because after all this are weaknesses later on. So a6, and the knight has maybe a route here. This knight maybe comes into here to here at some point when this knight is not covering this square anymore. But right now this square is covered. But you can maybe go for a knight. The other option is to go for knight here to here maybe. So let's put all these lines away. So let's say knight here to start with, followed up with knight here, followed up with queen there. And now all these light squares here are pretty nicely covered. Probably for starting with knight to b6 to king here. I know I look often on the evaluations, but I'm kind of interesting when the strange moves from white backfire. But right now it's still kind of playable. King here, king b2, rook d8, rook d8 is what Houdini calculates. Rook d8, what's the implications of that move? Let's say this rook comes in here, e5 cannot be possible because you just take it. So knight takes here, check. King goes somewhere, let's say it goes here. Yeah, but then you maybe have some rook lifts after all, so I really don't know. Rook d8, king a2, but king a2 immediately would have been possible. Very interesting position. Rook d e8. White's position looked pretty aggressive, so there are both options possible there. But we have different move by Houdini. We have the move I was suggesting, knight here. Maybe with the plan, knight here, queen there, and knight here to b5. So very interesting game. I mean, this is somehow a game where it's more positionally, not a very tactical Botvinnik Semislav. This is more positional chess. To b6 we have rook on the semi-open file. Now queen to e7. Oh, we don't have this, sorry, we don't have g4. We have b5 here, followed up with a3, king there, and king there, but the plan stays the same. Queen here to here, knight to here, and to there. So rook to c1, king on the semi-open file. Again, this was not the move suggested by Houdini. Still, black seems to be a little bit better, at least according to Houdini. Houdini 4, at least according to Houdini 4. The other rook is coming to the e file, so nice centralization moves by black. Although these pawns, they look funny, but they control a lot of squares. This square is covered, they suppress the move e5, so kinda nice. This is why I always let Monarch 1.7 play against some engines, because I like his gameplay, his playing style. Although he is probably not that great in some not the best engine, I wanted to say, but it's still a good engine. We have to move queen e7. b5. At some point I think it's too much. White is playing creative, but I think at some point it's too much. 8 takes b5, knight takes b5. Right here can't be played because black is on that pawn. Let's again see both evaluations. Again, it's kinda equal. You can play like this, probably. Following up with f5. g5. Queen here maybe. Threatening some disk. Still not threatening anything. Still you have to play the rook in here first. So black is kind of under pressure here. Let's see how Houdini manages to win this game, because Houdini is still a much better engine than Monarch 1.7. It takes b5, f5. f5 now we have. But you don't have to play this, you can play something else here. Don't have to play that move. Can maybe double on the C file. King C1 we have. I think now it's too much weird play from white. No, still not. Still it's kind of playable. Let's see, maybe the king goes here to e2. Then be able to put the other rook on the b file or on the a file and push the a pawn. But now the knight has a square right here. But we have a different move from Houdini, namely that one, trying to pressurize this weak f pawn, maybe planning to capture and play queen f6 back. But this knight also has nice. Is nicely positioned, protecting those pawns. Rook hg1. Now is what Monarch thinks. Rook hg1. Takes. Wait here, takes. Here on the knight. No, but this somehow, yeah, it's, this pawn is also weak, and you can maybe go for rook here. White has plans in that position. Rook g1, king here, rook there. Still kind of equal. So you probably cannot crush the Trompowsky with f3 and g4. You have to play really creative here as white to get kind of a good position out of the opening. And for me, white's position looks okay. It's creative play, but it's okay. Nothing wrong with it. There are no infiltration points for black. At least not yet. You cannot easily kick the knight. But right now, you threaten to move the knight. Well, I don't know if this is a threat. Yeah, it probably is. Because then you can kick the knight via c6. And then this pawn is not protected anymore. So either you push that pawn right away, you play king b2 back to protect it, or to put the rook on the a file. We have rook there and queen there. Once again, I'm so curious about this position. Still playable for white, although black is a little bit better, at least according to Houdini 4. Smoke a cigarette while commentating on this game. Very interesting game, I have to say. But what is the queen doing on h4? Put some pressure on the f file. Missed a move from white. Okay, white went back with a knight. Now this move. Well, I don't understand this. Why can't you take this pawn? Oh, because rook there traps the queen. So no, it doesn't, but it wins a piece. Rook takes here. Queen has to go there. And now queen here. Threatens the knight and the f-pawn. So probably that's the reason why you cannot do that. We have to move knight back. Rook to the f-file. Rook here. And queen back to here to pressurize that pawn. King here now. Rook there. Okay, now both engines are fast. King b1. I think black has no plan in that position. Either doesn't white, so you kind of can play like that. Monarch managed to draw this game versus Houdini. But now I can go rook to a8 to pressurize that pawn. Houdini thinks it's equal, the Monarch thinks it's equal, so Monarch 1.7 managed to hold a draw against Houdini. Monarch 1.7. So it's not a bad engine, Monarch 1.7. There are no entry points for the black team. Okay, we have takes, rook takes. Knight here, the Monarch also starts to reroute his pieces. Queen there, pressurize that pawn. Yeah, those isolated doubled pawns here, this isolated pawn here. Black has to be better in this position, but how to make progress? Here attacking the rook. Rook probably back to f8. Rook to the g file. Knight here, heading towards that square. Knight jumping in here, heading towards that square. But now Houdini managed to get quite a good position. Now I think it's lost for white. Now I think it's really lost for white. Queen here, check. Now I think it's dead. Yeah, also Houdini has now managed to break this down. But you cannot go for a sacrificial kind of game against the Monarch. King a1. Knight here, protect this pawn. And now Houdini has a simple plan. King here, rook here, and attack that pawn right there. This would be the plan I see. Knight c6 we have. Now king b2. The king starts to run. King here, rook there. Queen here, check. Attacking also that pawn, so rook here now, pressurizing the h pawn again. Rook there. Queen here, check. But again, it's not so easy to break down white's position. But Houdini is on -3, and also the Monarch is on minus. So I think it's now. But both engines went into time trouble, so. Yeah, let's just watch the game. Because I think now it's over and it's too fast for analyzing it. So just now the a pawn is dropping. Wait, what? Knight takes here, rook takes there. Oh, threatening this pawn. So black just sacrificed a piece. getting the e5 pawn. Rook here check first. Getting the e5 pawn, threatening the knight. And if the knight moves, then queen e3, so you have to defend the knight. You have to defend the knight. But now trying to kick the knight away. Now you got 4 pawns for the piece right now, and now it's really dead. It's over. Rook here check. Mate in 21, Houdini announces. And now it's over. Okay, Monarch 1.7 finally resigned the game. It was interesting. Interesting game. Let's ask Houdini some questions about that game. So, we have those moves. E3. Very nice. Very nice. This I have to remember that you can play like this. It's very interesting. Very interesting. Now E5 is under control. E4 is under control. C5 is nearly under control, so this puts the brakes on, yeah, this move, attacking the D4 pawn. Queen here defending, castles, A3, B4, yeah, F5, some shuffling going on. Now Houdini has a plan, rerouting his pieces. Knight takes, e5, check, knight here, king there. And now finally Houdini infiltrates. If rook takes, then just rook here, threatening mate. You have to defend. The rook here doesn't work because then this one is coming. You have to give up the queen. So you have to go there. And now just exchange everything. Being up 3 pawns, winning endgame. Don't even have to go for the mate in what? In 10. Yeah, very nice game. Quite liked it. And this were after rook takes, the Monarch finally resigned the game. So this is the ending position. Very nice game. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Ciao.